Hi everyone. The aim of this presentation will be to clarify some common concerns and scenarios regarding MLA format and the English major. For greater understanding, it might help to introduce a scenario. So, you're an English major tasked with writing a paper in MLA format. What is this? MLA stands for the Modern Language Association. Created by the Modern Language Association, MLA style is a dedicated format used by scholars in the humanities. The style is currently in its 8th edition, otherwise known as MLA 8. This edition is the most recently used in the field. Between editions, changes are often made that every practitioner must follow to maintain accuracy and credibility. In setting up your paper, there are 6 important aspects involved in creating a spectacular MLA template aside from your content. They are affixing a header, selecting your margins, choosing a font, implementing your spacing, choosing a title, and creating a works cited page. So, when it comes time to implement a header, it is always important to consider what is correct and what is not. The header always goes at the top of your page and is placed on each consecutive page thereafter. It typically contains the author's last name followed by the page number. This is aligned with the right-hand side of your page. Your header font should never be a different type and size from the rest of your paper. If this seems slightly off from the rest of your paper, it probably is. Be sure to double check. This photo showcases a correctly implemented header. Notice that in the upper right-hand corner of my page, I have my last name followed by the page number. When used as an example, this header is incorrect, primarily for one reason. Although my identifying information such as my last name and a page number are correctly implemented in the upper right-hand corner of my page, take note of the font I've chosen, as well as its size. Setting the proper margins is an important aspect of MLA style documentation. Your margins must be set at 1 inch around all sides of your paper. The photo below goes into greater detail regarding how to do this. Very briefly, I'd like to take a moment to circle back to font. The correct font used in the header example photo is Times New Roman 12. This font and its size are often recognized as universal to MLA style documentation. However, you may also use other legible fonts, so long as your chosen font remains the focus of your format. What this means is that your paper's formatting will be seen as acceptable if you take care to apply these settings throughout. Again, your header font must match your paper font. Consistency is key. Spacing in MLA format becomes important to your text immediately after your header. Beginning at the left-hand side of your page in double-spaced text, you will focus on placing your identifying information. This typically consists of your name, first and last, your instructor's name, the course name or number, and finally the date. This photo in particular is important as it demonstrates that my identifying information is correctly formatted to the right-hand side of my page and double-spaced. So, in our second scenario, You're told by your instructor that in MLA format, titles matter and that yours must be intriguing. This is absolutely correct. Your title is more than just a gateway to the rest of your paper. It must also contain some extra content. The first is creativity. A paper titled Essay 2 is not as enthusiastic. You should always aim for interest. It must also require a bit of context regarding the content of your paper, so that your reader won't have to guess what it's about. In addition, properly formatted titles of mentioned literary works are crucial, and this means that the titles of longer works, such as novels, must be italicized, whereas the names of shorter works, such as the name of a poem, must be placed in quotation marks. It should be centered on the page, after which you will press Enter, then Tab once, and begin to type out your paper. And now the fun begins. Remember to utilize double spacing throughout your work. As an added aside, item number 3 is particularly important for one to master as soon as possible. Knowing the difference between title formats will only help your credibility as a student of English. In scenario 3, you've just finished writing your paper, but you've also been asked to include a works cited page. So what is this? The MLA Works Cited page is a significant aspect of producing credible work as an English major. It is mainly used for 2 reasons. The first is to provide accessible information for the reader to look into later on. And secondly, it includes a reference for each in-text citation listed in an academic paper. This is done to prevent plagiarism, which we recognize as the intentional or unintentional use of others' ideas without permission. So, in setting up your works cited page, it must contain particular information in order to be considered accurate. It should ideally include the following. The title, Works Cited, should be placed in the center of your page. Please keep in mind that this is not italicized or placed in quotation marks. Following this, each entry must be double-spaced. And the identifying authors and/or names of your cited works must be alphabetized. For authors, this means by last name. Your citations should adhere to the left-hand side of your page. And please remember to utilize the hanging indent for subsequent lines in a citation. The photo below demonstrates what your completed works cited page should look like. Take note that the title, Works Cited, is centered in the middle of my paper, whereas I'm utilizing the hanging indent beneath the full citations that adhere to the left-hand side of my page. In closing, there are some extra considerations I'd like to leave you with. Keeping up with the constant changes made to the Modern Language Association's style can be a daunting task. Luckily, there are numerous resources available to ease one into the MLA transition as an English major. These are the Purdue OWL website, CiteFast, and EasyBib. The Purdue OWL website is a highly informative resource that covers every aspect of MLA formatting. And as students study the nuances of the style, they are often provided with this site as a resource, since it is consistently updated with any new changes. Furthermore, both CiteFast and EasyBib are reliable citation generator websites. Between the two, I often choose to use CiteFast. The site does a fantastic job of maintaining up-to-date information on MLA documentation and implements any overall changes made into your citations. Even so, such sites act as stepping stones and helpful guides while students become more self-reliant in MLA formatting. So given this invaluable information, over time, as the MLA process becomes ingrained in your memory, it also becomes easier to remember these steps on your own. And soon enough, you'll be able to create the perfect template for memory alone. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope that this presentation proved to be both helpful and informative.